Hello guys, Yom Tov, happy Monday. Yes, I sound out of breath. You are looking at a prize klutz. You are looking at an absolute prize klutz. First off, I want to say hello, how is everybody today? I hope you're all doing really well. I want to dedicate this video to my friend Angie of 4F Beauty because she is the person who inspired me to do this blue eye makeup look today. She's got a video which I'm going to link down below, which is entitled February Blues, and it was just something about it and I thought, I've only ever done one blue look before, it was Jeffrey, but I wanted to try something different. And I saw Angie's video. Now, it's not exactly the same. I have tried my best to copy what she did. So I would like her to have a look at this and then she can tell me, well, Heather, maybe you're a bit heavy-handed on this, or you haven't quite done it on that. But I have tried to follow her tutorial because she teaches from the very beginners, like me, to, well, I'm not a beginner. I'm like an amateur. Do you know? And then obviously she teaches to expert as well. So I'm trying to make some sense out of this hair as well. Honestly, do you know what it is? It's like feet. You know when you wash them and then you can't dance because your feet won't do as they're told or something. That was my excuse anyway for why I couldn't dance properly. And oh my God, well, you will not believe what I've done, and that's why I'm having a cigarette, honestly. I'm absolutely livid at my stupidity today. I don't know what the heck I did, but I did a video just before this, you know, and I stopped recording about 10 minutes ago. And I was feeling quite chuffed with myself and thinking that was a really good video I did there. I'm quite pleased with that. And then this clever bugger decided, oh yes, oh, I seem to have too much space there. Oh, there's something there that I should have deleted the other day. And then deleted the video that I'd just put up to download. Deleted it. Couldn't even get it out of the recycle bin because I deleted it straight off my phone. Yeah. Prize klutz. So now I'm going to have to try and remember what it is that I wanted to talk to you about. And I know it was about fibromyalgia, but I'm going to try and get the important things out about fibromyalgia straight away. By the way, today's lip is the 50th anniversary lipstick collection that MAC did for Star Trek. And this is called Cling It On. And it's this one here. And it looks like that. And it's like a bronzy kind of thing, but it's got like an iridescent shift to it. Weird to describe, but it's nice. It's nice, very nice on as well. And today's palette that I used is actually from China, and it's called Space Blue by Delancey. Less than a £5, and those are the colours that are in it. And you can see they're all really very nice, and you'll probably be able to tell the ones I've used. But anyway, that's where today's look comes from, and that's why I've tried to copy Angie and what she's done. Like I said, I've got it down below for you to have a look at. Anyway, honestly, I'm just so mad at myself because I said, at least I thought I was talking sense and I was fairly coherent and what have you, but yes, I know these things happen, but I was trying to think I had an organised Monday. What can I tell you? Monday. Head as a klutz. This won't be the first time, guys, and I'm certain it won't be the last. But there you go. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about fibromyalgia, and one of the things that helped bring Angie and I together was the fact we both suffer from fibro. And I got my fibro diagnosed in 2004. It was February 2004. I've now had it for 16 years. There are lots of things, symptoms of fibro, like the famous fibro fog, where it affects your memory. You can, well, I'm saying you, me. This is how it affects me. And I don't think there are two sufferers who've got it exactly the same, but we have lots of things in common, right? Terrible muscle stiffness, sore skin, sensitive sore skin, sensitive eyes, fibro sniffles. You can get, my lips tend to get a bit sore sometimes. Like I said, you know, sore skin, real muscle ache, and your body's just in pain from scalp to toe, right? Even getting my hair done, I can't get any peace. Even though my stylist has given me a head massage, it hurts. It's just not comfortable anymore. And I'm sure that if any one of you wanted to go and look at the symptoms of fibro, one of the things you'll find, apart from having mood swings, periods of sleeplessness, chronic tiredness, chronic fatigue, you know, where you do, you know, you'll be online all night, everybody's in bed, you're up all night, you're trying to distract yourself, so you buy daft things that you probably wouldn't do in the light of day, you know, and then completely forget what it is that you've bought. So when it comes, you think, where's this from? Why did I buy this? But the major thing about it is depression. And having chronic pain and having a disability. I mean, my main ones are, I've got Graves' disease, which is thyroid disease, but because it also affects my eyes. I've got one eye slightly more prominently than the other one. I suffer with very, very flaky dry skin on my legs. That's another symptom of Graves. So I've got the Graves' disease, I've got lymphedema, I've got cervical and lumbar spondylosis, degenerative disc disease, I've got crumbling vertebrae, I've got permanent sciatica, and of course then you've got the fibro on top of that. So everything that I have is painful. The Graves' disease isn't so painful as much as, you know, I've got to take 2 little tablets every single day for the rest of my life to keep me alive. These 2 tiny little tablets, these levothyroxine. You know, if I stop taking them, I'll be dead before the end of the year. Right? It's that serious. But fibro is, I mean, it is now, it's incredibly painful. It took me all my time to do my eyes today because my eyes were so sensitive. You probably see it probably more in this eye, but it's been incredibly sensitive. And of course the tears just roll, and then your nose is running, and oh, it's a real pain in the eyes. But I think the worst thing about having fibro, especially right at the beginning, was having, not only just having depression, I had depression anyway, but because fibro exacerbates the depression, it makes it worse. And then there's this feeling of isolation, because when you're disabled, you do become isolated. And the real life friends that I had are now on less than one hand. Because, I mean, in fairness to them, they don't have wheelchair friendly homes. Plus where I live now, because of the house that I have now, I'm far away from them, well outside of town where they all live, and it's inconvenient for them to keep coming over to see me because I'm miles away. And you know what it's like, people drift. People say, I promise I'll come and see you, and then of course they never do. When you say, can we go for a coffee, it's, oh, well, I can't make it this time. And they want to go and have coffee in places that I might not be able to get to because of the wheelchair, because they're not wheelchair friendly. It's very isolating. But in the beginning, I remember feeling very alone, frightened, getting this diagnosis of a condition, this disease, autoimmune disease, that I'd never heard of before. And I didn't know who to talk to, who to turn to. I didn't have anybody to sit and hold my hand and tell me it would be okay. And what I could do with myself and how I could distract myself and all that sort of stuff, you know. And then I remember, and I mean, Facebook isn't, you know, in general, Facebook isn't the greatest place. Although I've got to say our Facebook group, the Haven Facebook group, is fantastic. But then again, it's filled with us, so it's bound to be fantastic. But I remember, like I said, back in 2004, and I remember going onto Facebook and saying, I've just come back from seeing a rheumatologist, and I've got a condition called fibromyalgia, and I'm really frightened, I'm crying, and I'm absolutely devastated. Now, keeping in mind that majority of the people that I knew then on Facebook, apart from obviously real life friends that I knew, and this was before I went into the wheelchair full time, they didn't know anybody who had it. But the online friends I'd made through playing games, and I'd only ever spoken to them with regard to, can you add me to this? Could you send me 5 of that? Because I want to complete this challenge, sort of thing. And it was women. I think it was about maybe 10 women, maybe 8 to 10 women, just came out of nowhere, the middle of nowhere. Oh, I've got fibro. Oh, yeah, I've got fibro. And that, I think, was the key to helping me cope with having a fibro. Being able to talk to someone. And I think that was the important thing. And I think that's what is the most important part about having any kind of disability, is to be able to find other people who have got the same condition as you, so you don't feel so alone and you don't feel so isolated. And that because it's not just people in Britain that you can only just talk to during the day, and then you're sort of like stuck at 10, 11 o'clock at night when everybody else is going to bed. There's people all around the world, you know, in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all have sufferers of fibromyalgia. So there's practically somebody round the clock that you can talk to. And of course, there's different online organisations where you can talk to people. And I've honestly got to say that on my worst days, I know that, you know, I mean, I'm very conscious of the fact that, yes, Angie has fibro, and because of how it affects her, I can't talk to her all the time. There's bound to be times where she's lying down, which is because she gets chronically tired too. And like she says, when you live with 24-hour chronic pain, it debilitates you. It's very debilitating. But I know that when I can talk to her, she helps me get through it. And she certainly doesn't make me feel lonely anymore. And there are lots of other people that I know, people in the Haven, who have got fibro. And talking to them, I don't feel so lonely anymore. And I know that some have come to me and said, I've just been newly diagnosed and I don't know where to turn. And I feel, well, I've been where you are and I can talk to you, maybe offer you some comfort. You know, that sort of thing. And I think that's where the key lies to dealing with an incurable autoimmune disease. Because as of today, I don't know that there is a cure for fibro. I don't know if we'll get one in my lifetime. I hope so. But the best way to deal with it is to make sure that you've got the right medication for you, to get the right level of painkiller for you to help you cope with it. Even finding the right kind of clothes that you can wear that won't irritate your skin, because your skin gets very sensitive. And sometimes when people touch you, it feels like they've got hands made of sandpaper. And it's really unfortunate, you know, when you've got a hubby who's very touchy-feely and wants to hold your arms and rub your arms when he's talking to you, and it feels like it's going up and down like a cheese grater up and down your arms. And I don't like putting him off in case it upsets him, so I've just got to sit there and grin and bear it. You know, and I feel I can't keep saying to people, I can't do this because of my fibro, I can't do that because of my fibro, because it ends up just upsetting other people. They're very wary of doing anything to upset you, and it's like a vicious circle. And I admit to sometimes saying that I'm absolutely fine when I'm not, so that it doesn't upset anybody else. And I think we've probably all done that, haven't we? I mean, there are definitely days where I've said, I know I said I was fine, but really I'm not. And there's times when I've said, I'm telling you I'm fine, but I want you to look at me and say, I know you're not, and it's okay. It's a difficult one, isn't it? And of course, when it leaves you feeling so low in spirits. And sometimes, even though you know other people have it, you do feel sometimes that you're the only one, that you're all alone. But the truth is, guys, you're not alone. You would be surprised at how many people have fibromyalgia. And you know, they've started up self-help groups, and you can join them, whether it's on via Twitter, whether it's via Facebook, anywhere that is said fibro support. I would strongly suggest that you go along and you will find fellow sufferers there that you can talk to, you know. But that was basically what I wanted to say to you today. Along with I spent the last part of my other video telling you about how I achieved the eye look. Now I've completely forgotten what it was I was going to say, apart from the fact that I tried to follow Angie's video and use similar colours. I think this would be a great look if I was going out somewhere, you know, like out to the pub or like out for a meal or maybe something like that. But I think it's a bit much to go shopping with, just grocery shopping or anything. At least that's just me personally. If I was going to go shopping, I wouldn't have this level of colour on my eyes. But I just wanted to try something different. I've had so many videos where I haven't had anything on my face at all. And I've had some people comment that I'm extremely brave, that I'll go, you know, on video with no makeup on whatsoever. and my hair's a mess and I don't seem to care. It's not that. There's times where I'm so tired or my eyes feel too sore. And I just think, oh God, they've seen me without any makeup on. It's not going to shock them. You know, I am who I am. I'm just me. And, you know, that I'm just the same live as I am talking to you now while I'm sitting at my kitchen table. I'm annoyed at myself, guys, because I had so much that I wanted to say to you today about what fibro does to me, and thanking Angie for the eye look and that sort of thing. And now my stupidity. It was a half-hour video as well, and now I'm having to do a second one literally back to back, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually worn me out just having to do this second one. I'll tell you what I will talk about quickly before I go. I've been asked by some Haveners about my view on the royalty in the UK. Sorry, I need a fag. I need a distraction. It's not quite yet the time for me to take my medication. So I'm using my other crutch instead. Please excuse me and please forgive me. But like I said, it's not time for me to take my next bit of medication yet. So I need something else. Harry and Meghan are now in Canada. What annoyed me intensely was the photographs of Meghan holding Archie walking our two dogs. And there's a guy taking photographs of her and she's looking directly into the camera and smiling. Then the next thing we hear is they are going to take legal action over press intrusion, taking photographs of Meghan. You cannot tell me that that woman didn't know what she was doing. Come on. She looked into that camera and she smiled like the cat's got the cream. I'm overseas now. I'm not stuck over in the stuffy UK. Do you also know that there's been no progress on her getting a UK passport and having like dual citizenship? There's no progress on that now, which I think is a real insult to the Queen. I really do. That's an insult to our Queen. You know, she's supposed to be coming back here for so many months of the year, and they're going to pay rent for Frogmore while they're there, and this sort of thing. I tell you what, if you see her coming back to the UK to live for so many months of the year, because I think you can live here for so many days or something without having to have citizenship. I reckon that's the way she'll get round it. I reckon she'll go for Canadian citizenship before, unless she already has Canadian citizenship, that is. But I reckon that she'll go for American Canadian citizenship before she'll do it with Britain. I really do. I mean, she's reached the pinnacle now. And the thing is, she could have had it all. She really could have done. But she decided no. And she's taken Harry with her. I mean, I don't know how much of this that Harry has orchestrated himself. I'm not going to let Meghan take all the blame. I think it's been calculated by the pair of them. I really do. If Harry wanted his way out, he should have done it years ago. When he was younger. When he was telling everybody, I don't want to be in the royal family. He should have done it years ago. Instead of waiting until he had a wife and a son. A son who's not going to get to know his great-grandparents. Because who knows how much longer the Queen and Prince Philip have. He's their 8th great-grandchild. Right, okay, they've got other great-grandchildren. That doesn't mean to say that they don't want to see Archie. Of course they do. They want to learn to love that little boy. And he's not going to get to know them because he's thousands of miles away. And it's not the same doing things over FaceTime and things like that. It's not the same as cuddling him in person. Those two are robbing our Queen and Prince Philip of their great-grandchild. You know, and I think it's disrespectful. You know, the Queen and Prince Philip have bent over backwards for Harry. The Queen's broken rules for Harry. And yet, he still doesn't want what she's offering. It's like it's not good enough. And he'd rather earn his own way. I just think if they say they're going to keep their patronages and their charities, but how on earth can they visit their UK charities who need them when they're thousands of miles away in Canada? With Meghan there with a Cheshire Cat grin. Like, yeah, I've got exactly what I wanted. Married to a prince. He's always going to be a prince. He's born royal. So he's always going to be a prince. And I did say they wouldn't take the titles off them. And I was right. She hasn't taken the HRH away. It's just they're not going to use them. But I was right. I said she wouldn't take their HRH away. Well, we've lost 3 major royals this year who all share a burden in doing public appointments. So now we'll have to find 3 to step up. So Prince Andrew's out the picture, but his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, they may have to step up. I don't know. The Queen's daughter-in-law, Sophie Wessex, she's a younger son's wife, Edward's wife. She might have to step up and do more. William and Kate are going to have their plate added too. Kate doesn't like to do, I mean, she does want to do a lot, but she still wants to be there for her children in the morning to see them off to school and have some time with Louis, who's not even 2 years old yet, and she likes to be there for them before they go to bed. You know, and I know they used to call her Duchess Doolittle, but now I think she's really working hard, and she wants to work to give under 5s the very best start in life, and she's very in tune with bringing awareness for mental health. William's more or less the same. But where we're going to find 3 extra people from who are willing to take up the slack, I don't know, because the slack was passed on from the Queen when there were things that she just can't do anymore. The woman is 94 in April. Prince Philip's 99 in June. And I'm sorry, I know, I don't know, I think when you're born into the royal family, you have a duty of obligation to the people, to the British people. And some of our taxes go to pay for their upkeep, you know. And I just think it's unfair the way Meghan and Harry have treated them. And I would hate to think that Prince Philip was made ill due to the stress of all of this. Because, yes, I know he's a very old man. I understand that. That's the Queen's husband, and she loves him. And I would hate to think that any stress caused by Harry and Meghan would, you know, usher on him to meet his maker. would hate that. I don't know how Harry would be able to live with himself. But then again, all this is just my personal opinion, guys. This is just how this old bag feels about things. I must admit that, you know, it's like Prince Philip said to the Queen when they first got married and had children. He didn't want to be an amoeba sitting around doing nothing. He wanted to have plans and projects of his own. So he said to her, right, you're the head of state. I will support you with everything to do with the monarchy. But in private, I'm the head of the family. I run this firm. And I will decide where the children go to school. And I will decide how they're brought up. And she agreed. And the only one who moaned about it all was Charles. He didn't like where he was sent to school. It wasn't gentle enough for him. You know my honest opinion? I think Princess Anne, his sister, she's coming up for 70 this year. She doesn't look it. She certainly doesn't behave like it. Just very no nonsense, no frills, straight to the point. Can't stand people who are, yes, Your Royal Highness, no, Your Royal Highness. Can't be bothered with any of that. She's very direct, very to the point, very straight. And if the rules had been different, I would have much preferred her to have been the next monarch. I really would. I don't like Charles. I don't like who he's married to. And if he'd been more of a man, then he should have asked Camilla to marry him when they were both free, when they were in their 20s. But he wasn't man enough. He was vacillating all the time. Oh, he didn't know what he wanted. So she went ahead and married somebody else. And then what happens? He's got to marry someone. He's got to provide the heir and the spare. So they pick on Diana, who loved him. And she honestly thought he was going to stay faithful to her, like his marriage vows. As he said in his vows, he couldn't even stay faithful to her the night before they got married. He was with Camilla in a train siding. Everybody thought it was Diana he was with. It wasn't. It was Camilla. And that was just before they got married. That's the sort of person Charles is. And then we had the awful phone calls between him and Camilla, where he said he wished he was a tampon so he could be inside her all the time. That's my future king. And he goes ahead and he cheats on his wife. And he doesn't care. Well, we're incompatible. You know, I don't blame her for going off and having flings. I really don't. The girl wanted to be loved. And she was just a girl. The marriage was more or less over by the time Harry was born. And I'm sick of people going on about Charles not being Harry's father. You take a look at Harry and you look at Prince Philip when he was younger, and I'm telling you, there's no way Diana would have messed around before they had the heir and the spare, because that's what aristocracy do. They even do it today. You give someone their heir, you give them a spare, and then as long as you're discreet, you can do as you please. Diana knew that rule because it was passed down the family, been going on for centuries. There is no way Diana would have put anything like that at risk. No way. She didn't start her affair with James Hewitt until 86. Harry was coming up for 2. So everybody who keeps going on about James Hewitt's Harry's father, he's not. Get a grip. And that's just how I feel about that. Oh my goodness, I've gone over the time again. Oh well. That's header for you guys. Header's naughty, header's unorganised. Disorganised. Wipes out films that were 10 times better than this one. So I do apologise for that. But I'm going to link Angie's video for this look. Well, I tried to copy it. It's not the same. It doesn't really look the same. But I think you'll be able to see where I was coming from. You can see what a light hand she has and how talented she is. Not like this. She's fantastic. Right. I'll link her down below. And I'm going to say, I'm going to love you and leave you. Paranormal Crew, will you please let me know if you want 2 episodes on Friday? Otherwise, I'm just going to read one, because an hour is a bit long for a Friday night spooky sessions. And all being well, I will see you on Wednesday for your folk tales. Right. I hope you all have a very happy Monday wherever you are in the world. I'm going to love you and leave you and say bye-bye to you for now. I love you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.